today.
Seems like we were just starting training camp, but here we are in October, and off we go on EA Sports.
From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And tackled at the 21-yard line, so a net negative there of 4 yards.
So here are the Panthers now for their opening drive. And they will be led out by their 6'3 quarterback.
I tell you what, when he is on schedule for that week, secondaries take notice because you've got to stay alert back there on every snap. A truly powerful arm, one that's capable of challenging any level of the defense on any given play. That's why so many scouts preach arm talent when preparing for the NFL draft. A quarterback with arm strength to make every throw in the book, he's an asset to have in any offense.
They'll get this to the 24, and it's second down. You look at this Niner defense.
They were quite formidable in the win over the Eagles a week ago.
And what I saw on film was nearly an unstoppable pass rush. They had 5 sacks last week, plenty of hurries. So now do you just max protect on offense, keep everyone in, and run, 1 or 2 receiver routes to make sure your quarterback stays up? We'll soon find out.
Third play here, this opening drive, as they're up against a 3rd and 5. Looking to throw. Peyton.
Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete.
And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. A nice pickup of 23 on the 3rd down conversion. On 1st down, Peyton. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And they'll work this down to the 40-yard line, tackled there. 11 more on that one, and another 1st down.
And what a nice example there of a tight end doing exactly what he needs to do. How about how he worked his way to the outside, made sure he secured the catch, and then anything after that, we count that as a bonus. And indeed, he gets enough for the 1st down.
Here's 2nd and 7.
Back to throw. Peyton. And down he goes. The 49ers get there.
Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game.
Getting into the act on the opening drive here with a sack. And remember, they had 5 last week.
And they saw that on film, and that meant that they had to get together. Offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, offensive line coach, receivers coach, and say, how do we beat this pressure? Because everyone has to win against the defense and get the ball out of the hands of the quarterback very quickly.
The 7th play now of this opening drive. This is 3rd and long, though. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And they'll get him down at about the 37, well short of the 1st. So now on comes the field goal unit, and wow, this is no ordinary try here. This from 54 yards away. That's running out of steam, and it won't get there. He left it just short, no good, and this will remain a scoreless game.
I'm about to say something that seems really obvious, but you hate to see your kicker miss on the opening drive because now you're starting to wonder what goes through his head. Is that going to affect him the rest of the game? Is he going to be able to bounce back? You want to show confidence later? What's going to go on with him right out of the gate with a miss?
Yeah, a chance to grab the 3-0 lead here at home. Instead, we remain scoreless.
Here now, 2nd and 4.
And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And this carry not as productive. He's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4.
In search of 4 yards here to pick up the 1st down.
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. A gain of 10 and a 49er 1st down.
The Niners are the perfect 4-0 to start the campaign. They've been playing their best football of the year, winners of 4 in a row.
And I thought that they played pretty well last week. Their execution, their discipline, their resilience, all on display in that victory.
Down, yellow, 22.
Puts it on the carpet. snap, and it's out. And it's picked up by the Panthers. And his guys are going to take over at the 39-yard line. And hopefully for both sides, not a sign of things to come, Charles. This morning, it was so perfect outside, but we knew this weather was coming, and we see the effects of it here early on.
And I wonder if how perfect it was this morning has psychologically fooled everyone. You know, it's almost like even though we were told the weather was coming, and you know the teams knew it as well, then maybe they got fooled and thought, it's going to be okay. And now they're probably a little upset that it's out there.
Because warm-ups were dry.
Oh, well, dry, and now you've got to make the change up, and it's the first quarter. Might take them a little time to settle in on their focus and concentration.
Here's Johnson again on second down.
And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. A gain of 3 last play. This time they double it and pick up 6.
A yard all they need, but it's third down.
They'll try and run for it. Here's Johnson. And he's got the first down yardage before being taken down at midfield.
We ought to come up with a T-shirt and sell it that says, no indecision on 3rd and 1. And we didn't see it on that run, did we? Got his shoulders square, just got right into the line of scrimmage and picked it up.
Absolutely. Picked his lane, went with it, and converted. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
No score after 1 on EA Sports. Second quarter now from Charlotte, and it's the Panthers with the football, as they've got a 2nd and 8 forthcoming.
He's going to get this one out to his fullback. It'll be a gain of 5, and now it's 3rd and 3.
Coming up here looking for 3 yards to pick up the first.
On 3rd down, Johnson. And he'll be tackled about 2 yards shy of the line to gain. A 1-yard pickup leads to 4th down.
What an advantage having an elite guy in the middle of the defensive line, because not only does he take up the space and let the linebackers run free, but he can also make plays himself, as we just saw there.
On 4th down,
Peyton pass taken in by his big tight end.
And brought down, but able to get it to their 30-yard line.
So a big play there on 4th, and now 1st and 10 at the 30.
Operating from the gun, Peyton. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. He'll be dropped at the 25 after a gain of 6.
From the 25, here's 2nd and 4.
Looking to throw. Peyton gets this one to Hill. And this will move the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the 49ers' 13-yard line. 12 yards there as they keep this drive rolling. It's another first down.
Now here's a little touch pass as they tap it quickly to their receiver.
And he will score. Touchdown, Panthers. A great play there. His 3rd touchdown now on the year.
And the Panthers post the first points of the ballgame as they take the lead here in this 2nd quarter.
Footing always a concern, but the extra point's up and good. And that makes the score 7-0.
After the touchdown, Bass to kick it away. And out a little across the 25 to the 27.
The San Francisco offense ready to start their next drive. They had to fumble on the last drive, wound up leading to the opening touchdown. Now they'll try again here, 1st and 10.
Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Jeremy Chinn picks it off.
And he's able to get it back to the 33-yard line. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Throwing to start the drive. Peyton. Open man is Hill. He's got it. And he is out of bounds inside the 30.
From the 28, it's 2nd and 5.
Back to throw. Peyton. Quick throw that's complete on the inside slant. Rookie to rookie on the hook up there, and it's a first down. A give up the middle to Johnson. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4. Johnson on the counter. And he can't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. Sets him up nicely. 1st and goal. It was a pickup of 14.
Sanders is into the end zone for a Panthers touchdown.
Sometimes offenses can get too cute down near the goal line, but there's nothing fancy about this one. As Coach Lombardi would say, we get a seal here, and we get a seal here, and we run this play in the alley. And that's good work to hit the hole hard and finish in the end zone.
After the touchdown, Bass to kick it away. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line.
The 49er offense now making their way out onto the field.
And for this offense, Charles, you got to think kind of crucial here to put something together on this drive, because remember last time out they threw the interception on the very first play.
And you can't afford to let this.
It's caught inside the 25. Touchdown, 49ers. A great effort there. 73 yards.
And the Niners are able to strike quickly here as they are in for 6.
Extra point right down the middle, and that'll make our score 14-7. Well, the offense wasn't out there for a long time, but they were out there for a good time. One play, and they're able to hit pay dirt. And he'll very wisely take a knee here as they'll bring this one out to the 25 on the touchback. The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive. And thus far, the weather has not slowed this offense down one bit. They've looked good so far in the first half.
They certainly have. And think back to our meeting with the head coach. And we asked him, because we saw the forecast for this game, didn't we? We said, hey, have you prepared for this? And he talked about the different drills that they've done in adverse conditions, the wet ball drills, things of that nature. He said, I don't think it's going to slow us down much. We tend to handle it pretty well, and he's been right.
Looking to throw on 2nd down. Peyton, it's Hill, complete. They'll be brought down on the 30-yard line after a gain of 6.
3rd and 5.
Operating from the gun.
Peyton, he's got his running back out of the backfield. And he is going to have a Panthers first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Looking to throw. Peyton. And he's got his man on the out route. And he's brought down. 17 more yards on that one as they keep the drive rolling. Now the Panthers going to use the first of their timeouts, as the clock will stop with 55 seconds to go until halftime. Back to throw again. And he will find his man on the end route, complete. The Panthers going to use the second of their timeouts. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime.
2nd and a couple.
They'll look to throw again. Fights through it, and he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down. Again, he'll drop to throw. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's 2nd down. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And that will be incomplete with a clock showing 18 seconds now to go.
What will look like a march to the end zone has hit a momentary roadblock with that incompletion. No need to panic. They just got to come up with a high percentage play call and see if they can get their offense back on track.
It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. Now the Panthers going to signal for their third and final timeout as they'll stop it with 13 seconds to play in half number 1. So even though it's first down, here's the field goal unit on now to try to get 3 before halftime. From the left hash, this from 37.
The kick by Bass is good.
And they will move up by 10 now, 17-7. Offensively, pretty good execution. Long drive, chews up the remainder of the first half clock, and they finish it off with 3 points.
And what's the best byproduct of the whole thing besides the fact that they got points on the board? They didn't leave the other team any time to mount a drive themselves.
And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28.
The 49er offense set to get this drive underway.
And with 5 seconds to go, this will likely be our final play.
He's going to fire one deep left sideline. And incomplete on the deep ball. So it's halftime here.
Message received here. No need to wait. We're going to skip halftime and get right back to the action. Here comes the third quarter.
Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half.
And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line.
Here comes the 49ers offensive unit as they'll have it first to begin this third quarter.
Charles, it'll be interesting to see what adjustments this offense made in the locker room. Haven't really been able to get anything going offensively, virtually nothing in the ground attack either. So certainly something has to change here in quarter 3.
And I'm pretty sure their friends from the defensive side of the ball told them exactly that, because those guys, the stop troops, they've been playing pretty well. They've kept them around in this game. Now they got some time. The running game struggled in the first half. Opposition knows.
He's got a man complete. Touchdown 49ers. A big play there. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns here so far.
And the Niners come right out of the locker room and score here in the opening minute of the third quarter.
Extra point splits the uprights, and it leads down to a field goal at 17-14. Still just a 2-score game in the third quarter, but they're going to go onside kick here anyway. And it looks like the Panthers' hands team does its job. I know they're down, but starting the third quarter there with the onside kick, what'd you think?
Well, I think that they're looking at it as we may not have as many possessions in this game as we want. There may be that sense and that feel that they've got to go ahead and make something happen. Steal possession, try and steal some points, and get themselves right back in a position to try and win the game.
5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down. To throw on second down, Peyton. And he's going to be taken down. Pressure gets there back at the 39-yard line. They get to him for a loss of 4, and it brings up third down on the sack.
This defense coming out after the half, and if that plays any indicator, Charles, maybe a little refreshed and refocused here for quarters 3 and 4.
Yeah, they did really well on that one. That's exactly what they need to keep doing if they want to change their fortunes in this game.
And he's going to be stopped here a few yards short of the first as the tackle is made at the 33. That one good for only 6, and it leaves him with a 4th down. And this kick is not going to be close. It's well short, well right to boot, and that will keep this a 3-point game.
Always disappointing when you miss a field goal, but when you're playing against a defense this good, you and I both know that's a crucial miss because you can't afford to leave any points out there. You've got to take them when you can.
The San Francisco offense ready to start their next drive.
This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown.
A leap, and he's got it. He got it. A big play there for the Niners. 51 yards. And that catch, he just hit number 800 in his NFL career.
And just think, that puts you in top 35 range all time in the NFL in terms of number of catches. One significant guy in that number, Shannon Sharp, who was a tight end. That's big-time play right there.
It'll be a pickup of 4, and it brings up 2nd and goal. And they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. And he'll take this into the end zone for a San Francisco touchdown. A great play there. His first touchdown on the year. And the 49ers have scored again in this third quarter, this time to move out in front. Point after, right down the middle. And that will make this a 4-point game. And I guess the touchdown wasn't enough. They want the onside kick as well. And it looks like the Panthers' hands team does its job. The risk-reward of the onside kick, when you don't get it, the risk comes out to play, and here they gave up great field position.
And that's the key to everything, because you're trying your best to press advantages when you have them, and field position leads you to that type of play calling, and whether you want to blitz or whether you want to throw the ball deep, those types of things. Now that they've given up that type of field position, the advantage is switched to their opponent.
He'll try again with the arm here on second down.
He'll drop this down to Johnson underneath. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a third down.
Well, offensively, that's the mismatch that you want. You want to force a linebacker to try and cover your back out of the backfield, out in some open space. But linebackers nowadays, they run.
Looking for Johnson, and it's intercepted.
Down the right sideline.
And into the end zone. A pick six for the 49er D as they score the touchdown.
Well, Charles, just some visibly frustrated players and coaches on that sideline right now because those halftime adjustments didn't work. The turnover problems continuing here in the second half, and the defense now sitting pretty comfortably as a result of that pick six.
I think that's a great observation too, Brandon, because they did make adjustments at halftime. But how about this other group staying a step ahead despite whatever happened in that other locker room? No surprise they're leading, and it's appropriate that those defenders got to add to the lead directly.
And it looks like the Panthers' hands team does its job. And that's why you have your hands team out there on the field. Those are the best guys ready to make that play.
And let's face it, it was executed well. It wasn't a bad kick. It wasn't anything like that. Just that the normal outcome actually came to play. Analytics will tell you it's a very low possibility of getting the ball for the team kicking it in an onside kick situation.
You're all about the numbers, aren't you?
All about the numbers, baby. It's a new game now.
They don't lie.
Ball on the 36 now. Here's second down and 2.
It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he's going to get this inside the 30. Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on first down. Back to throw. Peyton.
That's going to be caught by Pickens.
This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, second and 2. Blitz forthcoming as he'll look to throw. Over the middle, complete. It's McKinney. First target, first catch, and a first down. Up the middle, Johnson. Down to the 6-yard line on a pickup of 6 as he gets halfway to the goal line.
They've created a nice sustained drive off of plays like that. A nice strong run there that keeps them advancing the ball.
Looking to throw on second down. Peyton. And a quick throw here. That's complete.
And the Panthers are looking at first and goal as he's tackled all the way down at the 2-yard line.
And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the third quarter has come to a close. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Looking to throw. Peyton. Under pressure, down he goes. Sacked at the 10. A big loss there of about 7 yards on first and goal, so now it's second down.
So a great play there for this highly regarded linebacker making his first career sack.
And his versatility on display right there. Look, we've known him primarily as a tackler and a cover man, but he can go get the quarterback when the situation calls for it, as he just did right there.
No gain on that one as it brings up a 3rd and 10. Operating from the gun, Peyton. He's got it for a Panther touchdown. From 10 yards out.
And the Panthers have made it a one-score game again here in the fourth. Solid response that time by a young quarterback. Last drive, interception. This drive, the touchdown pass.
I like how you described it, solid, because you don't get extra kudos for bouncing back if you're going to be a big-time quarterback. You're supposed to do that. But at the same time, when you're a rookie, that's not guaranteed, is it? Sometimes they hang their heads and they go in the tank a little bit. Not in this case. Bounce back.
And now the pressure gets there, and he goes down. So he couldn't get rid of the football, and that deficit stays right where it is.
Well, they tried to get 2 and ended up getting none because the quarterback had nowhere to go with the ball and ends up getting sacked.
Nowhere to go at all. Great job, though, defensively. They were ready.
After the touchdown, Bass to kick it away. This fielded right at the goal line. And they will wrangle it down a couple yards shy of the 30. So here are the Niners to take over on offense. They're working on a 4-game winning streak, and they lead this one as well right now as they start 1st and 10. They'll try and start this drive in the air. Throwing middle, and it's complete. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. 10 yards there to start the drive, and just enough by about the length of the football for a first down. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
He's going to rifle one deep left side. And a penalty flag comes in as that one winds up incomplete. But the contact is going to move the ball well downfield.
So pass interference, the call there. Always, obviously, Charles, such a subjective call. You agree with the penalty?
Well, from where we're standing right now, I think the officials are tightening things up here in the second half. Maybe a defender gets away with that in the first, but this time the flag comes out, and I think it's a good call.
And that one incomplete, but now a penalty flag coming in late. That might be PI.
So the pass incomplete in the end zone, but the flag comes out for interference.
And now you're set up right on the doorstep of the goal line. 1 yard away changes what your play calls are going to be.
They'll try to run this one in. And he is not going to get through here on try number 1. They stop him at the goal line. Another shot from the 1 on 2nd and goal. One of the tight ends comes in motion. Now they'll send a tight end in motion left.
Jackson is in. Touchdown, 49ers. Now that's certainly an important touchdown there and makes this a 2-score game.
But as we've seen, no lead is safe in this one with the way these two offenses have lit up the scoreboard. I would imagine that on their sidelines, they're both yelling at their defenses, hey, you want to get involved here? One big play from you, that could win the game for us.
The 49ers ready to kick it away, and here we go.
And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. This Carolina offense at the line, ready to go. And the script really is flipped for them. The momentum on the other sideline, and now they have to try and battle back from a 2-score deficit.
That's certainly appeared to be a play call where they were just trying to make 2nd down, 2nd and short. I think they thought the coverage was off a little bit more than it was. Nice job there pressing up on it and forcing the incompletion.
Pass incomplete, but the flag in the backfield, and this might be a roughing call.
But Charles, they're trying to protect this lead late. Those are the types of mistakes they could afford to go without.
About the last thing you want to give them is help in completing a comeback, which is exactly what that penalty does.
Here's a throw right side taken in by his tight end.
And he has a big gain inside the 40 before being dropped. It's another first down as they bite off 23 more on that one.
Back to throw. Peyton. And now the ball's out. Fumble near midfield.
Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it. Fortunate to get that football back, because trailing here in the second half, last thing they needed was to lose the possession.
And the word I think of here is opportunity, because it could have been lost there, their chance to score points. But the opportunity for the defense was to go ahead and really close this game down if they were able to get possession.
The fumble on first down. Now here's second down.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. He finds his man, complete. It's Stevens. And they will only muster a yard here to the 38. They need to get to the 29 if they want to pick up a first here on third down. Looking to throw. Peyton. Able to find the open man. That's complete. And this will move the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the 49ers 23.
I'll tell you, far from ideal conditions to play in, but neither offense has had much trouble. Plenty of points to go around. First and 10. Now a quick throw there, but it's going to be incomplete.
This could be the start of a nice stand from this defense now after getting walked backwards on this drive. Come through with another one here, and you have them staring at a 3rd and long, and that puts the defense in a position to dictate.
A fight for it, and this is caught. It's caught indeed. Now a battle for the football. It's caught. It's a touchdown. A great effort there, with now 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns.
And the Panthers are back within a score. So how about that for an answer? They get the touchdown there, and it's back to a 1-score game here in the 4th.
And that's what these guys have done all game long, because they've scratched and slashed their way to stay in this game. And by now, we should all realize they're not going away. Now the pressure again swings to their defense, because they're going to need to find some way to get the ball back.
An extra point by Bass, up and good.
And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter.
After the touchdown, Bass to kick it away. From a yard or 2 deep, here comes a return. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. The 49ers offense now, they work their way back onto the field. After the touchdown we just saw, we have a brand-new ball game. And now look at the situation. You got plenty of time on the clock. Defensively, they have 3 timeouts. So do you run the football here or do you throw it?
I think you have that full conversation with your offensive unit, and you tell them, here's the situation. They've got all their timeouts, so we are not going to play this conservatively. We've got to attack them. We've got to make them use those, gain the ground that we need in order to put this game away. If you think we're just going to run it 3 times and punt it, you got another thing coming.
Yeah, and by the way, also the 2-minute warning in play, so essentially 4 timeouts left.
They have to be aggressive here. Well, you most certainly don't want to go 3 and out here and give the football right back, because your friend, Old Momentum, he's wondering if he should change sidelines about right now. And if you don't convert here, guess what? He's going to make the trek to the opposite side.
There he goes, right side.
Still going inside the 20.
Touchdown, 49ers. A big play there. 77 yards.
And the Niners add on to their lead, and they are also closing in on a 5th straight victory.
That's a pretty quick response to that last touchdown drive, and it seemed like they had maybe given up momentum. Well, not so fast.
No, not at all, because they ended up pushing the lead up once again, and you're exactly right. Thought momentum might have been shifting. Instead, they grabbed Old Mo, didn't let him get to the opposite sideline.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away.
From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And the decision to come out of the end zone is going to cost him 5 yards as he's taken down right at the 20. This is 1st and 10.
Throwing to start the drive. Peyton over the middle. It's complete. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. 2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So it's Panther football as we welcome you back.
All 3 timeouts remain, but they've got to score quick. It's 1st and 10.
Operating from the gun. Peyton
Connecting with Hill.
And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down.
Here's 1st down.
Now a dump off here complete. The Panthers got to go quickly. They're moving with a sense of urgency right now.
And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively. And now it brings up 3rd down.
Back to throw. Peyton.
And that ball incomplete, nearly intercepted. Took a chance with that one. It'll lead to a 4th down.
As expected, they're going for it to keep the drive alive. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and the 49ers are going to get the football back. That one looks like he'll throw here.
Oh, and that is incomplete.
Finally, a good play there defensively on the deep ball. The secondary has had its struggles this entire game. Offensively, they've had their way with them.
Here's 2nd and 10.
They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. Now the Panthers going to use the first of their timeouts, as they'll get it with just a shade under a minute to go in the game.
They'll come up facing 3rd and 5.
Off the play fake, he'll look to throw.
That is caught. And he has a big gain inside the 40 before being dropped.
The Panthers going to use the second of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds left to go in the game.
17. Ready, go.
They go play action here on 1st down. They're unable to connect, but a late flag comes in. And the contact may have come too early.
Well, obviously, they never want to see penalties on that defense, but this one a little bit more significant there on the downfield pass play.
And coaches preach it all the time. You can't put yourself in that kind of position if you're...
And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. A great play there.
His 2nd rushing touchdown on the year. And the 49ers are well on their way to a 5-0 start as they extend their lead.
Extra point right down the middle. And that will make this a 19-point game. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away.
And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive. And they unfortunately are staring at a mini losing streak developing, trailing here in the 4th quarter. This would be their 3rd straight defeat.
And he'll be corralled well upfield right around the 40-yard line. On 1st and 10, it's Sanders.
He'll get this up to about the 44.
Now the Panthers going to signal for their 3rd and final timeout as they get it with 16 seconds remaining on the clock. To throw on 2nd down, Peyton. And the Niners get there and bring him down. The 49ers now going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And that is incomplete.
Well, these guys are not going to go out with their tails between their legs. They're going to keep taking their shots until the clock's at triple zeros. But that one, like a lot of others, winds up incomplete.
And just a single punt for him in the loss last week as he sends this one away. This is fielded at the 27.
Charles, a lot of happy faces heading into the tunnel as this one ends, and understandably so. Not only did they get the win, but boy, their offense was on fire in this ball game.
And partner, I have no idea what the top speed is on one of those high-end sports cars. What's the top gear you can get into? This offense, they certainly were there in this one, huh? Everything clicking for them in this contest, the kind of performance that they're going to cherish.
So for the Niners, their strong September has carried over to October as they move to 5-0, and they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for the Panthers, they drop below 500 to 2-3 with a loss, and they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week.